Okay, so here we go. Chapter 6, Excel Practice Exam, 23 questions. And again, my expectation is you've gone through the demo, which was rather lengthy for Chapter 6, covering a lot of stuff here when we talk about database and some of those functions such as the D average, D count, potentially D sum, and one of my favorites, sum if, of course. All right, so here we go. Insert a table with headers. This is question 1 using cells A3, which I'm going to highlight here, A3 through E11. All right, using those as the table range, and I'm going to say insert table. When it says table with headers, you want to make sure you say my table has headers. Now later on in Access, we'll call these field names, workshop ID, type, so on. And again, when I say field, I'm saying a bit of data, last name, first name, street address, city, state, zip. Those would all be fields. And when we put all those little bits of pieces together into one line, we would call that a record. In this case, this would be like the kitchen record or the record for workshop ID 01-KT. Kind of getting you warmed up to the idea of Microsoft Access and databases. So that's all it's asking me to do is create a table based on that range. And I click OK. And it just opens up with the default table. Okay. Question 2. By the way, and probably say this again, go through the practice exam first. Maybe you'll struggle a little bit. Maybe you won't do so fantastic. You can come back here and review the questions you missed. Of course, you can use our friend Denise on the study guide in SAM if you so prefer. But again, make sure you go through the questions first. Again, kind of struggle with that learning because the more you get as far as trying to work through issues and trying to click on things, the better your skills will become in Excel here. Apply orange table style medium 14 to the table. So I'm going to go down and click into the table. I need to be in the table to format it. When I do that, the Table Tools Design tab, that interactive tab, pops up here at the top. All right. And it says we're going to apply a table style. I'm going to click on the More button over here. And we're doing orange. It says medium section, row 2, last option. Tooltip says, so go on here, Tooltip says orange table style medium 14, which is a bright orange on the top and every other row kind of an off color of orange there. All right. Okay, there you go. Question 3, format range A3 through F16 as a table. Kind of sounds like the question we just did, huh? We're going to get practice making a table. Sure we are. Insert A3 through F16. Insert, and we're going to do table. Make sure we say my table has headers. Again, with that header row at the top to describe your field names. And, oh, whoops, I messed up. I got overconfident, didn't I? Yes, A3 through F16. Insert, table. Here we go. My table has headers. There we go. Now, it should ask me what it wants me to do. Oh, wait a second. What's going on here? With headers using orange table style medium. Okay, well, let's select that. Insert. And table. I just did the same thing, didn't I? You know what insanity is? Insanity is when you do the same thing over and over and you expect a different result. Format the range of the table with headers. I'm going to have to come back on the back side here on number 3 because it's not liking my answer for this one. A3 through F16. Usually I'll create the table and then the Table Tools Design tab will pop up. But, catch me on the back side. I'm probably going to miss this, number 3. And I missed that. So catch me on the end here. I'll get that for you. Assign the name costs to the table. Looks like I'm in the, let's see, let's go down to the table here, right on. Table Tools Design tab is number 4. Table Tools Design tab. And here it's saying, let's come over here and give this a name. Just click on the default table name. And again, we know from Word, if we select something and just type over the top of it, that it will replace it. Hit Enter. There you go. Question 5, remove duplicate records from all columns of the workshop table. So I'm going to come down here and click into my table. Table Tools Design tab. And over here you have this remove duplicates option. And again, when you only have like 15 records, this is kind of hokey because you can like just look at it and use the eyeball test. When you have 5,000 records, maybe people have been entering stuff online or applying for something, and or they filled out some form, and some people might have clicked enter twice, and you want to remove all those duplicates. Remove duplicates. And here we're saying we're looking for all columns or all fields in that particular table. So if I have an identical entry in the table, we're just going to say, yeah, we want to get rid of those duplicates. Here it's found 3 duplicate values. Okay. Number 6, insert a new column to the left of column D. So here I'm going to come up here and click. Actually, I would just right click on column D. I think I can do that. And I want to say insert. I'm just going to say insert. And it should pop in a column to the left of D like so. And anyway, when you build an Excel worksheet model, obviously you're going to be inserting columns, inserting rows. That's a really important skill to have. In cell D5, create a VLOOKUP function to determine the cost per participant for the game room workshop based on the workshop ID in cell A5. Okay, so let's go down to D5 for starters here. Let's get in the right cell. Okay, use range H4 through H11. I'm going to scroll down here if it lets me just a little bit. There we go. H4 through H11 as the lookup table, and the cost per participant listed in column 2 of the lookup table. Do not enter a value for the optional range lookup argument. Okay, so here we're saying, and again, when we look at this VLOOKUP, I am only going to look at row 6 here, between A5 to E5, row 5, okay? I'm only looking at that information. Don't look at anything else in that particular table. Don't look at all the workshop IDs. Don't look at anything else. I'm looking at, okay, I got 06 GR, game room, number of participants, whatever. And it looks like I'm using the workshop ID to make some sort of cost per participants determination here. Okay, so here's the question. For row 5, A5 through E5, what is the cost per participant going to be? Now, I want you to do this with your brain first. This is the key thing to VLOOKUP. It is not rocket science, okay? But what's in your mind? Okay, based on workshop ID, well, what's the workshop ID? Well, it's 06-GR. What's the cost per participant? Based on my table over there on the right. Well, it's, I hope you say it's 15. Okay, I hope you say that. Now, what we do with VLOOKUP is we just use the VLOOKUP function to do what your brain just did, step by step. I'm going to go up here to Insert Function. I'm going to say VLOOKUP. I'm going to go find VLOOKUP. Let's get my instructions out of the way here. Get that up there. Okay. Go look for VLOOKUP. All right, there it is. Okay. Lookup value. What am I using? What's the first thing you did with your brain? Let's get this thing out of the way. Come on. There we go. All right. What's the first thing you did with your brain? Well, the first thing I hope you looked at was the 06-GR workshop ID. That is my lookup value. And again, I'm only making this determination based on that one cell. The problem with VLOOKUP is students want to list the whole workshop ID, all those values. No, we're looking at just this value for the game room, 06-GR. Okay, that's my lookup value. Table array. This is where I'm actually doing my lookup. In the table array, we don't include the field names in the table array. I'm going to say H4 through I11. That's my table array. Okay. Now I'm going to go down column H. Again, I'm using 06-GR. I'm going to go down column H until I find a match, and then I'm going to pop over to the next column. So which column did I get my ultimate answer from? And it's a column index. See where it says num? It's a column index number. Yeah, but Reardon, it's H and I. Yes, I know it is, but we defined our table array as H4 through I11. Okay? Now I could have find that table array is out there in Z29 or AA104. It could be anywhere in my worksheet, but wherever I define that table for my lookup, it's quite simple. We just start counting. What's the first column? It is column number 1. Yes. What's the second column? It is column number 2. I've had table arrays before that I've worked with that are 40 columns wide. I got maybe my answer from, I got my match in the first column, column 1, but I went over and pulled my answer from column, say, 34. Now, this is a real simple 2-column lookup table. Okay? So where did we get our ultimate answer from, our cost per participant? We got it in column index number, I hope you said 2. Okay? And what it says, do not enter a value for the optional range lookup argument. Now, I really take offense to this. I think this is messed up. And I'll tell you why. Are we looking for an exact match here? Are we looking for close enough? What if I had 08-MR down there for workshop ID? What would it come out with? It would come out with an error. I guess there's an 08 already there. How about 09-MR was one of my workshop IDs over there on the left in my data table. It should come back with an error, correct? In this case, they're saying, well, just leave that open. Don't put anything there. I think that's an error because we are looking for an exact match. And if we were looking for an exact match, we would enter, down here it says range lookup, find an exact match equals false. You need to put false there. But they said, no, don't worry about it. Okay, that's a mistake, all right? Because we really were looking for an exact match here. So I'm sorry that this question, I think, is faulty. This is poor form when it comes to Excel. VLOOKUP, if you're looking for an exact match, you want to say false there. You want it to give you an error if it doesn't find a match. Okay? All right, there you go. That was my soapbox there. Okay. And we're good to go. Okay? That's VLOOKUP. Use the format painter to apply the formatting from cell A3 to the cells next to it. So I'm going to go up here to A3, click on my format painter. I think we did this in a previous chapter. You bring your mouse pointer down. It's locked and loaded. It's got the paintbrush next to it. I'm just going to left click on B3 and drag through D3 like so, and I apply that formatting. Very similar to what we did with Format Painter in Word. Very nice feature to have. Can create a conditional formatting rule by applying the 3 triangles icon set to D4 through D11. Okay, all right. And we're going to do conditional formatting, correct? Yes, okay. Come down here to icon sets. Directional sections, second option, the 3 triangles. The 3 triangles. Okay, looks like the top level is going to be green, then you get minus for yellow, and then down bad for red. Okay, and again, these triangles are going to appear right next to our data with our icon set here. Okay, there you can see that pop in there. Again, just a quick little graphic image that goes with your data. Edit the conditional formatting rule for B14 to B17. And you may see this on an exam too, where you have an existing rule in conditional formatting that you're editing. Highlight cells whose values is less than 50,000. I'm going to click on conditional formatting. Come down here to manage rules. I want to edit the rule. Okay. And they said, well, we're doing conditional formatting here in red for cell values that are greater than 50,000. Well, obviously the person that built this conditional formatting made a mistake because we're supposed to highlight cells whose value is less than 50,000. So I'm just going to change my operator from greater than, in words that is, to less than, right there. Okay? Less than 50,000. Okay? And you're going to see the conditional formatting change just to the opposite cells. Because I just flipped the logic on that. Okay? And watch it apply. See that? Just the opposite cells got highlighted. Add solid fill red data bars to the range D4 through D11 So again, with the data, some people are numbers people, some people like to see graphic stuff here, artsy stuff. I'm going to go to conditional formatting. I'm going to do red data bars. Now data bars again will, the largest number in the group will fill in the whole cell, and the next largest number will almost fill in the cell and proportionally fill in based on its value in comparison to the other numbers in the column. Okay, so here we got solid fill, hold on a second, solid fill red data bars right there. And it looks like the first cell there under kitchen, which is misspelled in row 4, that's going to fill in almost all the way across with data bars. Watch this. See that? So again, another little kind of graphic. It's overlaying the graphic representation with the numeric data as well. Add a total row to the workshop cost table. So here I'm going to click on workshop cost, table tools design tab, add a total row, and display totals using the sum function for columns D. Well, column E is already done for me. Let's come over here to column D, click down there in the total, drop down arrow, I'm going to select sum. Something we're going to see something similar to in Microsoft Access. Sort the participants table by last name in ascending alphabetical order. I'm just going to come over here and click on the drop down arrow and say sort, hello, wait, come back, there we go, sort A to Z. This is number 13, by the way, kind of missed that. Okay. Use Autofit. Now we've done this in Word before. We've done a little bit of it in Excel. When we say Autofit, we're saying make the column just a little bit wider than the widest entry. So we're saying Autofit column D. See our addresses are kind of scrunched down here. Mouse pointer between D and E with your black crosshair and just double click. Boom bah. That's number 14. Okay. 15 in cell F18. Let's see, cell F18. Let's go down there. Cell F18. Using the dsum function to total bonuses paid to employees with a performance rating of 3. Use the data table A3 through F16 as a database argument, the bonus column heading in cell F3 as the field argument, and range D3 through D4 as the criteria. And I hate this question because usually your criteria range should be something separate than being part of your table. The criteria range should be over in the side somewhere, not part of the table. That's just a little soapbox again that I'm kind of say we're saying we're using the dsum function here. When we say D, we're saying database sum function. Okay. All right. Why did it say sum? Hold on, I'm going to get an error here probably. Ooh, it didn't yell at me. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. dsum. Okay, there's dsum. Thank you so much. Okay, database. Database, that would be our entire table that we're doing the function on. Again, just take this one step at a time. Don't freak out. You'll be just fine. Select your table. Okay. The field where we're doing the math, okay, is going to be F3. And again, if you're doing a sum command, that means you're doing something with numbers, right? I'm just going to click on F3 for bonus. So we're going to do some sort of sum of our bonus category. It says bonus over here. I know that looks kind of nonsensical at first, but just remember, if you're doing a dsum, whatever you're doing the math on, which is your field, like I said, it has to be something numeric. If you try to do a sum on position with text, that would be kind of silly. Okay, criteria means what records, when I say a record, I'm talking about a row of data. What records are we going to select to add up all of our bonuses? And we're going to do this based on a performance rating of 3. Like I said, ordinarily your criteria range would be off to the side or somewhere else in a kind of a working area, not being part of your table. I think they just kind of take a shortcut here. And so we're looking for a performance rating of 3. We're using that as our criteria. And there you can see our sample result of 33,275. Okay, dsum command. Okay, just take it one step at a time. You'll be fine. In cell I6, we're going to use a dcount. Cell I6. I like this one a little bit better, see, because our criteria range is separate from our table. Okay, let's come up here and go find dcount. Search for a function. And here again, we're just counting records that match our criteria. Okay, so we're going to select our database, which is our entire table. La-di-da. And by the way, on the Excel exam, you may be defining a table that's like 150 records long. Okay, criteria, we're just going to count based on the field is going to be rating D3. And for count, we can just about use any field in the data table. And I'm going to move this around again so I can see my criteria. And the records that we're selecting is, ding, 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 rating of 3. So it's going to select all the records that have a rating of 3, and it's going to count those and tell us how many there are. In this case, it went through our entire list, and it said, well, 6 of those have a rating of 3. Again, this is kind of random, but why are we doing this? We're trying to solve a problem. We're trying to make a decision. We're trying to report on performance of our operation or areas that need improvement or whatever. This is the power of Excel. And I realize, again, we're dealing with all this kind of random stuff. You're kind of going, what in the heck does this even mean? But for whatever career field you want to go into, there's going to be some meaningful data that is going to be used to make your business better. And that's what Excel is really good at. That's why I'm a real big, firm believer that everyone should know how to use Excel. Okay, click OK. That's your dcount command. Oh, SUMIF. I just love SUMIF. Okay, we're going to go down here to G6. And what G6 is saying here is we're going to go down through our list of cities, A14 through A18. And we're looking for Atlanta. And for all the cities that equal Atlanta, we're going to total up the participants registered. So we come over here and say, okay, there's Atlanta, there's 41. I'm going to scroll down and find Atlanta again, and there's 13. We're going to add all those up, okay, in cell G6. And again, if you think this is obscure, like, teacher, are we ever going to use this? Yes, SUMIF is something I use in industry a lot. I love SUMIF. So SUMIF, hit go. By the way, if you're an expert candidate for Excel, you're going to get into SUMIFs. It's just multiple fields. This is a single field decision that we're making here. Okay. What's my range? Okay. The range is the field that I'm making selecting the records with. Okay. And we don't include the field name in this case. Yes, for dsum we would. For SUMIF we don't. So I'm going to go down and say A14 through A18. That's my range. That's where I'm trying to find my records. Not the whole table, just that particular field. What's my criteria? Now I can either click on, maybe some more off to the right, there was a cell that had the word Atlanta in it. I could click on that if it existed, which ordinarily is what you would do with SUMIF, or I could just type in Atlanta. By the way, Atlanta is a cool place to visit. I've been there twice. And both times it was paid for me. That was really cool. Okay, so we select all those records Atlanta, and now we're going to come down and say SUMIF. Well, what are we doing math on? Let me go back to something I said in the demo. If your criteria field is the same field that you're doing the math on, say you're looking for participants with greater than 20, then this sum range is optional. Like down here it says, if omitted, the cells in range are used. Cells in range are used. But in this case, the range I'm using to select the records with in column A is different. The field I'm using to select the records, which is column A, is different than the field I'm using to do the math, which is the sum range of D4 through D18. And all the Atlanta workshops total 114 participants. Click OK. SUMIF, powerful tool. We're starting to separate the contenders from the pretenders. Question 18. In cell J5, enter a formula using the COUNTIF function to count the number of cells in range G4 through G24, the value of kitchen. Okay, so very similar to So when we say count if, very similar to our sum if, except this time we're just counting records. And you're going to notice there's one less option in our function argument. Okay, range is just simply, again, we don't select the field name, just the data, G14 to G18, la-di-da. And it said we're looking for kitchen. I'm going to poke up here again really quick. It says we're looking for kitchen. And you know, in this case, they're going to ask us to type in the word kitchen, right? We could actually click on cell, whatever that is, I5 for a criteria, and that could become our criteria. Should I just play with this? Just pretend? Can I just click on I5? It says kitchen. That should work. Now, if it marks it wrong, I got to go back and type in kitchen. I know. I'll just do it really quick if I mess up. But that's how I would do it right there. I would actually click on the cell that had that word in it. Boo! Boo! Don't like that. Let's go back up here and do our, whoops. Let's do our count if. See, it's either Excel's way or Sam's way or the highway, right? Okay, I'll just play along. Whoops, I don't know how this got in here. That's probably going to mark it wrong again here. G4. Hold on, I'm getting off here. Hold on, let's go back. Count if. I got excited. Count if. There we go. Range is. Get that out of the way. Put that thing back where you found it. Oh, so help me. Okay, G, click on it. G4 to G18. What's going on here? This is just weird. This is weirdness. Thinks I'm trying to edit a cell up there. I'm just trying to select a range. There we go. Count. Oh, wait, I know what I got them in the wrong cell. Reardon, come back. Whew, this is embarrassing. Sorry. I need to be in cell J5. Sorry about that. Man alive, that was weird. I got so upset with them not following my directions. Them not following my directions, right? I got messed up. And you probably were sitting there wondering, hey, Reardon, it's J5. Wake up. It was kitchen, right? Okay, so you got my point there. Correct? Should be able to just click on a cell and reference a value. In cell G4, enter a formula using the AND function with default logic 1 and as logic 2. Excel will return a formula true if both conditions are met and the value false. Okay, AND. AND is another very powerful function, which I've used several times, where essentially it's an if, then, else. But in this case, the if has two different conditions to it, not just one. Let's go to insert function. I don't see and down there. I'm going to go down and find and. Click that in my search for function, and there it is. Go. Okay. And the value of true will return a value of true. So it's automatically going to come back with an answer of true if it's true, false if it's false. And you can use this AND command to maybe make other decisions, maybe do a conditional formatting, maybe do some other formula. There's all different kinds of secondary uses beyond just this initial function AND. So saying my first criteria, my first spaghetti strainer is D4 greater than right hand. Remember left hand, right hand with my little math mnemonic. Left hand less than, right hand greater than, making the two little sideways V's with your hands, with your thumb and your index finger right on. Okay? That's the first condition. Again, I'm doing this only for the first row, for Jonathan Burns, row 4. Okay, that one record. First condition is D4 is the tenure, how long they've been working there, greater than 3. Second condition is their performance rating, cell E4, is it greater than 3? To be like mediocre. And I could just keep adding logic values to test this, and it's saying, okay, both those conditions are true, so for this particular record, Jonathan Burns, that's going to evaluate to true. Now because I'm in a table, it's going to automatically copy that formula down to my other people on my payroll. Click OK. Ta-da! I just lied. It only had that one record. That's because it wasn't a table. See that? I want to make sure you noticed. Okay, we're doing this function in cell I4. Average if, very similar to sum if, because in this case we're not summing, we're averaging. Okay? With a performance rating value of 5 in range F4 through F16. Again, I'm going to get on my soapbox on this one as well. Average, let go. Where's average if at? Wow, that just kind of got lost in the weeds. Let's try that again. Average if. There we go. Average if. Once again, my range is what field am I making my decision from? I'm making my decision from performance rating F4 through F18. Okay? That's my range I'm picking my records from. Once again, my soapbox is I should be able to just go up here and click on, right next to my formula, cell, whatever that is, cell H4, which has a 5 in it, for my criteria. Because theoretically, I could create this formula, use absolute cell referencing to focus on F4 through F16, so it would stay pointed at that. I could put my criteria in as H4, and I could just copy this formula down. But they want us to type in, I'm going to humor them this time, I'm going to say criteria 5, but I would really like to do is just click on H4 and have it put 5 in there for me. What am I doing my math on? What am I doing my averaging of? I'm doing my averaging of average compensation, or what's the average pay that I'm giving to everyone with a performance rating of 5. So that's going to be average range, again, no field header, E4 through E16. Sorry about that. Okay. And it comes out with an average of 58,850. Excuse me. Yeah, 58,850. Okay. Same as sum if, except in the case of summing, I'm averaging. Same concept. And again, if I was using the same field to select the records, numeric field, as I was to do the actual calculation, I could leave this blank if I needed to. Average range, that's why it's not bolded up there. That was question 20. Okay, insert subtotals using the sum function. Ding, 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 ding. For each category and state field. La-di-da. So we're going to go down here in state field. Come down here. Okay, first thing we should be able to do is, I hope I'm doing this right. I'm going to say drop down arrow sort A to Z. Okay, there you go. Now I need to blow up my table. I need to forget that I've got a table. I have to sort it first because I'm doing subtotals by state. If you don't sort your table first by whatever you're doing subtotals on, it'll be a bunch of nonsensical garbage. Table Tools Design tab. I'm going to come up here and say convert to range. So I'm taking my table. I need to convert it to a range. Do you want to convert the table to a normal range? Yes, I do. There you go. And let's see, data tab right on. Data, and way over here hiding in the weeds under outline is subtotals. So every time the state changes, I'm going to do a subtotal based on the workshops attended field for each state category. Okay, subtotal. So for each change in, what did I sort on? I sorted on, yes, I sorted on state. I had to sort it first before I blew up the table. What am I doing? I'm doing the sum function. And again, whatever I'm doing has to be mathematical. Okay, so I'm doing a sum function. It means I'm doing it on a numeric field. What field am I doing it on? Workshops attended, which is the only numeric field in my table here. Okay. Click OK. Click OK. Boombot. And it automatically will include a grand total. Convert the workshop's participants table and range. Well, this is kind of backwards because I just did that, did I not? Yes, I did. Because one of the steps in subtotaling is you have to convert your table to a range. Use is our last question here. For now, use a row level button to collapse worksheet rows to display only subtotals and the grand total. Okay, what they're saying here is the row level button would be over here. 3 would be all my detail. 1 would be just the grand totals. If I want to just display the subtotals, I can come up here and click on the row level, which is 2. Just click on that, and there's your subtotals and your grand total. Okay. Then use a Show Details button to display individual records for the Appliances subcategory. Here's Appliances. Click plus, and there you go. Okay. Now I'm going to come back and get number 3, correct? Yes, you were paying attention. Good job. Okay, sometimes we just kind of have goofy stuff here. So in this case, we're going to select A3 through... It's like Sam's Way or the Highway, right? A3 or F16. So it's formatted as a table. It's right up here on the Home tab, Format as Table. I tried to go the other way and it wouldn't let me. And it says, you're messing up, you don't know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. We're using that orange style in the first row. All right, let's try that again. I didn't think I was recording. Sorry about that. Format as Table. There we go. And we finished that one. That's number 3 that I had to go back and do. Thank you for watching. From here, you'll go on and do the project for Excel Chapter 6. Again, work through the project first. You can use my webcast to go through any areas you might be weak on. And keep having